Hi Bobbers, and welcome to this week's YouTube vlog, and I hope we're alright. As always, thanks to everyone that subscribes, and obviously the comments we receive we're most grateful for, so keep them coming, thank you very much. Moving quickly on to this week's vlog, we are on part 2 of our installation at the big hall that's quite close to us, which, as you know by the one last week, is a bit out of our comfort zone, but we're loving it. So this should hopefully be the last day. So where we got to, just to remind on the end of the old one, we'd got all the fluid, we got most of the oil line in, Joe the Sparky had literally wired it all, and then we'd got a little bit of the returning and a little bit of the flowing. Today's job is to finish the flow and returns, fill it, finish the oil line. I've got a tiny bit of wiring on the relays on the boiler to do, bar and hope we got it all right. So that's what we're doing. Let's hope this does go right. Let's get on with this week's YouTube vlog. Okay, we're Friday, we're mid-morning. Lee is, as you can see, has got all the flow in now, so that's all in up there. The return's coming around. You can see the two T's there. We're going to tee off to the radiator. He's just doing the last bit of the return there. I've done the oil line into there this morning. I've got the condense coming out of there round and into the pump. The old pump pipe that goes from the condense pump goes down round and ends up in here, which clearly I'm not going to do because it looks silly. So we're going to come off there, we're going to come up behind there, and we're going to get it up right where that hole is there, because we found a soil pipe upstairs. So that's what I'll be doing next. So yeah, bit better progress today, Lee, do we think?
Yep.
A bit better progress, there we go. Right, we're just after lunch on Friday. He's still happy, look, that's fine. Okay, so I've got the condensing off the water off the flue that goes into the condense pump, etc. It's quite good. That used to go up round that door and it was horrible, but I've managed to get it to come up behind there beside the oil lifter, up through the conduit and up into the ceiling, and I'll finish that all off nicely. But I've basically ended up upstairs finding a soil pipe, so I've put a boss on that and it's ideal. So that's that. Lee is currently, as I said earlier, flame return's done. We're just sticking a vent in at the moment, and then we've got 2 more pipes just there. And we're good to fill, aren't we, Lee?
Good, rock and rolling.
Good to rock and rolling. So yeah, we're getting there. It's about 2 o'clock. So yeah, time is pushing on. Okay, so it's 4:05. It's a Friday. And in true Bob's traditional style, we're going to fill it. Why not? We've got nothing to lose, have we? We're valved off there. That's going to the radiator there. Everything else is valved off. It should just feel absolutely fine with no leaks. All I've got left to do on my side now is I've got a tiny bit of wiring there. Obviously Joe's done everything else. We could do a bit of wiring. I've just got to do oil line condensing here and sort out, yeah, a tiny bit of oil line there. And then basically run a condenser around the back into that there. And then we're good to go really, and we'll fire them up and see what happens. So wish us luck. Okay, so it's 6 o'clock, and the good news is we've got some power. I've still got to put the fire valve there, everything lit up, pumps lit up, we're all on the way. Absolutely brilliant. It's warm in the house really well, I'm just one at the moment, but clearly it's not a cold day. That's off at the minute, it does run, but we do have a small oil leak that I've just got to deal with. But apart from that, absolutely well happy. No leaks, it vented really easy, just a lot of finishing off to do. Well, I better crack on then. Okay, I'm in my van, so it's about 8 o'clock. They started to get loads of people around there. They were having quite a big dinner party there this evening. So I had a conversation with them. They were happy for me to stay, but I thought I needed to bail out, to be honest. So yeah, I've still got that little weep on that oil line, which I've just connected at the moment out the way. It's isolated anyway. And then I've got, what have I got left? I've just got to finish a bit of condense off. I've had a really good clear up. And then basically, I'm just going to go and just triple check, even though I have sort of just like made doubly sure that all the zones do what they're supposed to do, and go through it that way. And then obviously all the boilers have got a base setting, but they all need setting up properly. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to go back there Tuesday because apparently they've got some sort of inspection going on Monday, so I can't go there Monday, but that's okay because I've got lots of jobs to catch up with anyway. So overall, very, very happy with the job. I'll be the first to admit that I don't really get stressed as them all when it comes to jobs, but I wasn't stressed, it's more frustration. It just kept going on and on and on. But you know what, that is what it is at the end of the day. I don't mind. The end result's there because it goes, and the most important thing is we didn't get in a water leak, and amazingly it's such a big house, it vented up an absolute dream, and the boilers fired straight away as well. So that's it, that's me done. Yeah, I'm skydiving tomorrow. Well, an indoor skydiving tomorrow with my stepdaughter, so wish me luck, and I'll catch up with you on Tuesday. So have a great weekend, everyone. Stay safe. We're back. There we go. But okay, so just to get you up to date where we are, because Ryan come back yesterday and done a few bits. He's repaired the oil line down there. There was a little bit of a weep on the oil line, that's been repaired. I've just put the condensed pipe in down the side here that goes round and ends up in the condensed soakaway. These boilers, it's now Wednesday, so these boilers, or one of the boilers has been running since Friday, and it's been running the dream and coping with the house lovely, but obviously it's hot outside. So what we're going to do now is commission the boilers. I've shown it once before, but I'm going to try and show it in a bit more detail this time. So the first thing you need to do is if you go on the course, once you get it, you can buy one of these. This is the Sapphire screen that obviously sets the boiler up, and I've unplugged the display and I've plugged it in down there. So what we're going to do is we're going to press the EOGB button, like so, and then we're going to keep pressing the next button, as you can see, until we get to that screen there. We're going to start it at approximately 10 or 11 bar, and we're going to have the fan speed at approximately 41, and we're going to press start. Okay, we're going to wait a minute or two, and we're just going to see if the boiler fires, which it does. Perfect. Okay, so we're just going to let that warm up for a few seconds now. I've just turned my machine on like so, and this is where the test port is in here. So we're just going to pop that out, nice and gentle. It's going to go a bit noisy in the boiler because obviously I'm doing that, and that's set for my last Sapphire, so that's basically just going to go into there. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just basically going to go a couple of bar at a time and just increase the fan speed until I get to 20 bar. And now we're going to wait. What we need to see now is on here, we need to see the CO2 end up around about the 13%, 12.9, 13.1, something like that. And we need the O2 to be between 2.9 and 3.1. Okay, so as you can see, we're on about 3.2 now, and it's on 13.1 CO. So what or CO2, if it's what I'm going to do, I'm going to adjust that slightly more, and it will end up about there where it is now, which is 13.2, and it's 3.1 on the oxygen, which is absolutely fine. And if you look at the screen now, Isabel, you'll see that's on 52. Now normally that would be very, very, very slightly higher. Normally when it pulls on a balanced flue, up here Isabel, normally it pulls on a balanced flue, etc., then there's a bit more resistance, but on this one we've just got it being sucked from the fan on the boiler, and then basically it's become sort of semi-room sealed from the point of view of here, and then obviously you've got the vent there which is to the air. So when you set these up, it's always a good idea just to pop the front and to pop the top on to the best of your ability, otherwise it could just affect the CO2. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to drop the fans, the pump, sorry, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set that one, so that's now set. I'm then going to drop it to 19 bar here, and then I'm going to drop that down 2, and then I'll go back to my machine again and see what the reading is, and then I'm going to repeat, and I'll come back to you when we're on 5 bar. There we go. Okay, so we couldn't show you the end and doing it at the end because unfortunately all the people children that are important to this job, i.e. the people living here, decided they wanted to come and talk while I was doing it, so I'm afraid I couldn't do the end of it, which is really frustrating. But essentially you see how I've done it at the beginning. You start it at 20 bar, you set it at about 13.2% CO2, and then your O2 will be between 2.9 and 3.1, and then you go down 1 bar at a time right down to 5 bar, because these run between 5 and 20 bar. The only thing I was getting on here is at 5 bar, I was getting some resonation, so I've ended up that at 5 and 6 bar it had to be about 10.5, 11%, which is the only way to get around that. The reason is because I think it's not balanced flue, it's such a long flue, we're just getting a bit of resonation noise, that's all. But apart from that, it's all good. As you can see, they've ramped down now, we're at 61 degrees, as you can see they're matching. So that's brilliant, that's just dropped to 60, so that's fine. Okay, and they're just now modulating up and down with the demand of the house. So we are over the moon. All I have left to do is, if you point up there, I've got to fix that, and then I've just got to fix the fire valve, which is up behind there, and then basically we're going to do some pipe lagging tomorrow, which you won't see on the vlog because unfortunately Isabel's editing it tonight. So there we go. So that's where we're at. Let's go around the house and finish off Isabel. Okay, so this one's not going on the wall. This is in this room, and look, it's 23.3 already. So for people that don't know the EPH thermostat, that's the temperature it is at the minute. You can then dial it down like so. We're going to set this to 22 for the lady, like so. It flashes 5 or 6 times, as you can see. And it obviously goes back to what the temperature is now, so that's now turned off. If you want to fully turn it off, you just press the button to the left, and then it says off, and that's killed it, the other side. Okay, so that's how they work. We're going to leave this one here for her convenience. The radiator here is absolutely red hot, so that's brilliant. Okay, so let's move on to the next one, Isabel. Okay, so this is the old thermostat, and you just give it a little pull, like so. Pop the batteries off. And they're just held on with 2 screws. Number 1, number 2, and then the EPH thermostat's here at the moment, so we're just going to put the back off it. Unfortunately it's different places, but we're going to fix that one to there like so. Drill another hole through there, fix that on. Once that's done, that will clip on there. Jobs are good. And the other thing we've had to do here is, because it's got so many zones, like 5 of these basically, just so we know for the future, we know what each one's called. So that's ground floor on the first channel of the central heating on the west wing, which I'll show you the other end on the timers. That's how we do it. So this basically now does clips. Not like that. Keep it going, it's fine. On there like so. Okay, simple as that. So that one's now done as well, and that looks lovely. So it just turn it down. Again, we're going to leave that at 22 degrees. And that's that one done. On to the next. Okay, so we're now on to this one. You can see that's the 4th central heating zone, and it's on the first floor of the west wing this time. So the same scenario again. We just put that onto there, put that onto there, and that one's done. And again, we set that at 22 degrees. There we go, and on to the next one. I say, so just as you know, here's some of the controls in here we've done. So there's your first ground floor wing motorised valve, your second central heating zone motorised valve, and a hot water cylinder that's here. And if you look down there, Isabel, down further, you can see the 2 wireless thermostats. That we did that for you as well. Yes, please. The 2 wireless thermostats are there for you. So that's where some of the controls are on this side, and obviously they talk to the thermostats that I'm putting up at the moment. So that's these ones done. On to the next. On to the next one. This is the 5th channel, which is the first floor for the heating up here as well. So we're just going to pop this one on like the others. He says. There we go. Set that one to 22 degrees again. And that's that one done. On to the next one. Okay, so we've done these motor valves as well. You've got the first floor house, and you've got the first floor on the west wing here, these 2 motorised valves, and that is the flat upstairs, and there is your 3 wireless room thermostats that we've got wired in there. We had to do a bit of alteration here because some of the wires were brittle, but we've done that now. So that's this part done. Let's go up another level, Isabel. Okay, and finally, this is the 5th one. It's 3rd on the central heating circuit that we've been going through because they're in an order, and this is for the flat, which we are upstairs, which is right at the top. So we're just going to plonk that one on, which I seem to be struggling to get on today. Not like that. It's normally very simple, but I seem to be having a failure with these today. There we go, it's on. Okay, finally, stick that on to 22 degrees. And that's it, job done. Okay, so in here, basically, we've just modified a little bit of this, nothing too major. We've obviously done the flue there, as you know, and then obviously I've just got to put that little valve head back on down there. And then we've got 1 motorised valve there and 1 over there. If you go behind that door, Isabel, so we've just found out a little while ago, we've got a another timer. So that's a Honeywell one, but we are going to change that to an EPH one as well. I'll have to pop off and go and get one and come back because I've used them all on my van. So there we go. So that's this room done. Let's go back to the boiler, Isabel. Finally, we're back into the engine room. So basically, let's just go through it a step at a time. We have got 2 Sapphire fully modulating boilers. We've got a flow come out there, it comes through, that is a vent, it comes up into this Wallow pump. Okay, that then goes up into the system, it then returns back down. We've got 1 magnetic filter for this boiler, 1 magnetic filter for this boiler. We've got 2 separate isolation switches, so it's fully isolated from that point of view. We've put an additional radiator in here, one because of the heat, because there wouldn't be as much heat in here, because there's no heat off the flues, and obviously we're going to insulate the pipes, which you're not going to see in the vlog, because as I've said, Isabel's going to do this afternoon. So that radiator's red hot, so that we're using as a bypass. There is another one we found up higher, but we're going to use that. Then we have the condenser pump down here. Just got to tidy that wiring up there, which is nice and straightforward. That comes up through there, behind there, up into there, into the conduit, up through the roof, and it goes into saw pipe above. It used to go up and around here, which clearly, there's the end of it that you need to sort out. That is not where you put it. Okay, to the oil line. So we've got the oil line coming in down here. There's an isolation valve. It's behind the boiler, but it's very easily be accessible. Down there, look, you can just about see it. And then you have a filter, you have a fire valve here. It then comes up into the oil lifter. Not my favourite in the world, but it's what we have to use on this time round. The reason it says number 3 is because it's fully up to its level. When it drops to 2, it's running. When it drops to 1, it's low level. When it hits 0, it's not working. Simple as that. You've got a fire valve off there, which is from the bottom up for your oil lifter. That's just got to be fixed above the oil lifter, but as I say, unfortunately, it's going to be edited. Then we're going to come down with the oil line. It splits here in 2 places. You've got 2 more remote sensing fire valves there, one for boiler 2, one for boiler 1. And it is as simple as that. Last thing I've got to say to you is, like anything, all about isolation. So we can isolate the boiler 1 and 2 there. We've got an isolator for the condenser pump there. We have a nice main isolator that kills absolutely everything in this side, okay, which is the main engine room. There's a separate one next door for the brew house, but if that's on, it still can't work this side and we won't get electrocuted because it kills everything here. You've got one for the oil lifter here, so as you can see, they're all very easy accessible. 3 amp in there, 5 amp in there, 3 amp in that down the bottom there. Simple as that. There you see your EPH control panels there, programmers. We've got 1, 2, 3 A27HWs, and we have, 1, 2, 3 there, and we have 1 A17 because it's a single channel programmer. We've labelled it all: heating first floor, heating ground floor, hot water, heating attic. Next door's programmer does the brew house only. That consists of underfloor heating upstairs, underfloor heating downstairs, which has got all separate timers and thermostats for, and then there's a hot water cylinder. In the brew house next door, which you probably noticed or will notice on the pictures at the end of the vlog, you have 2 cylinders there. One runs this side of the house, the other one runs the brew house. And the 3rd cylinder you see runs the other end of the house, which Isabel will show again at the end in the pictures or the video at the end. So that's what it is. Also here with the flue, it does condensate, so you've got an additional condensate pipe that goes into the condenser pump there. So apart from a bit of tidying up, a bit of filler work, that is it. It's as simple as that. So that is it. That's the end of this week's YouTube vlog from us at Part2 All Services. Yes, and we got there, and that's part 2 done. Please feel free to subscribe because we love a subscriber, and obviously the comments, we love a comment. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry I couldn't show the full setup of the boiler, but there we go. Sometimes you just can't do what you want to do. Have a great weekend, everybody. Until next time, stay safe.